Okay guys, so I'm recording in Minetown. Here's the IP, it's mt.tg. Here's the home name, /home dteandy warps, that's me. So basically when you come here, you're going to spawn, I think, on this glowstone block. This uses device signs, so you spend money and you get to go to a location. When the light is on, which is where my cursor is going across right now, when these lights are on, then the warp is either in use or it's recently been in use, and I've just moved. These 4 lights, I know I was me just testing, so I know that these are clear farms. And at the end of the time stated, you'll be moved back into this area here, facing this way. You'll come and look just like this. It'll say turn around, and you'll be right here. So then you can go back to your farm, back to another farm, or wherever you want to go. So I'll start off at the beginning. This is an AFK sheep farm where you can get wool. Make sure you take shears with you, or else you're going to have to buy them when you get there. So here we go. This is 20 minutes for 10 credits. I'll appear here. This door's locked, so don't even bother trying to use it. And then just read the signs. Here's where you can buy shears if you need them. And you just stand here to AFK and collect. So I'll right click, start shearing. If you guys don't realize it, you can use the F11 trick or a weight on your right mouse key. If you put a weight on your key, I like to use a graphing calculator, and just for example, I'll just set it on there so I don't have to move and do anything. You can also use the F11 trick where you hold your right click, you tap F11, and pretty much simultaneously release your right click, and that should take you to full screen, and you're continuing your previous action, which would have been your shearing action. So you'll just keep shearing until your shear breaks or until your time expires. You can use a what's it called, inventory tweaks mod, so that you could keep your inventory full of shear. Basically, you would have other shears up in this part of your inventory and just one shear down here. Once that shear runs out, it's going to take one from up here and put it down here and keep using it. So you'll notice that I'm using dropper towers here. The water is going on top of a hopper there, and it's feeding into this dropper tower, which feeds your stuff. It's easier on permissions that way. So we'll go back to the next farm. You'll notice that this light turned on, so that'll stay on for the next 20 minutes until the time has expired. This one is AFK dual zombie spawner, so just stand there and collect flesh. Here's the 2 spawners, so you can kind of watch what's going on. There's a hopper floor down below, which I can't see from here. So you'll just stand right here in front of this dropper and collect flesh as it comes to you. We haven't had any come up yet. Once it gets warmed up, it gets going pretty good. Good for villager trading if you need to get some emeralds or whatever you want to do. So now it's starting to come in a little bit. There's a little bit more. This is a pretty big dropper tower to come up through. Anyhow, we'll go back to the next one. Those 2 are pretty easy, so that light will stay on for an hour now. This one's an AFK skeleton farm. Just pretty simple. There's a spawner below the floor, and you just stand in front of the dropper here to collect your stuff. It's lit up good enough. All these farms are where you can AFK there and not die until you get warped back, which I'll work on making that area a little more safe. So you can see I'm starting to get some stuff. This dropper tower is really high. I've got probably a 30 block drop or so to the floor. So here's what it looks like. So it's got a lot of droppers to go through before it gets up to the top and throws them out to you. So we'll go on to the next one. This one's experience farm for 10 minutes. It's a dual spawner, which is pretty nice. If you're nice, you can sell your bones that you get here for pretty much give your bones to me. These doors all are locked here, so you can't access these unless you ask me permission in game, obviously. Or if you override it on them, then you have special permissions. So there's the skeleton spawner. Down here is the zombie spawner, and you'll see a little bit of redstone, which is part of the removal process for this farm. So none of them have reached it yet. This one takes a few minutes to really get warmed up, but with the 2 spawners going, it does work quite well. And they all come into the same kill chamber. And as you can see here, until, yeah, the zombies are coming. Alright, well that's pretty much all there is to this one. Just grind up some experience and move on your happy way with enchanting. Next farm is the iron farm. This one I've actually added a counter to, which is quite helpful. I'll be working on adding those to the rest of these so you can see how much time you've been at a farm. So this one, you'll get about 2 stacks
User
of
joined
iron
your channel.
in the hour. I thought I muted that. Maybe I didn't.
Hey.
Hey, I'm recording. I'm going to mute.
Sound muted.
So here we are. And a friend wants to say hello. I have to go back and say hello. So make sure you read all of the signs at all of these. Here's the counter sign that I was talking about over here. And this one actually hasn't been reset. Normally this would start at 0 on the bottom and count up 0 to 60. So after the time expires on this one, that will happen. There's just been a lot of testing going on with me clicking these signs. But in the future when you come here, if that light has been turned off and it wasn't on like it just was now, then that will start out at 0 and it will count up to 60, which is where you were teleported away. Basically in this farm, it's 4 separate villages that all spawn golems and contains them in water, and they all get pushed through the water stream into the water blade and then go up the hopper tower, or the dropper tower, which is powered by the hopper tower. And what I have up here at the top, you'll see not to use /J, /through, /back, anything like that to get here, because it's not going to do you any good. If you don't pay to activate the sign, then there's 2 things that happen. The first one is this timer stops working, which is the counter. This piston will stop the hoppers from moving items through. And same thing with this one, will stop the items from dropping up, so they'll all just collect for somebody else. So keep that in mind to respect the way that things are set up there. And moving on, we've got our Guardian farm. This one will give you a lot of stuff, as you can see here. And we'll go there. So, this is a pretty big Guardian farm. It's the entire temple worth of spawning range. And a huge hopper floor leading all into this dropper tower, which you can see is running now. I just saw one fall over there, one of the Guardians. On this farm, there is also a slime chunk here. So that's why the cactus is here. You've got a chance to get slime balls as you AFK here. So pretty much just like all the others, stand in front of the dropper and wait for your loot to come up to you. It's rather slow, as is any prismarine farm, but what better way to get prismarine crystals, shards, ink sacs, and free food than to do nothing. That's my kind of theory on it. And we'll keep moving on. This one will be the crop farm. So you'll want to read the sign here. Make sure to take a seed item with you, or else you're going to have to purchase something from me, or take some wheat seeds and just grow wheat while you're there. This one's kind of expensive, but that's because it relies on a lot of bone meal. And you will get 8 stacks of food approximately in the 3 minutes. So make sure you read all the signs. Basically what they're telling you is to hold either potato, wheat, or carrot in your hand. So I'll go ahead and just buy some potatoes for myself. And then you'll get in the minecart and hold W until you start moving. And then just start planting. Just hold down your right click. You can do the same thing here as you do at the sheep farm. You can do the F11 trick, or you can just put a weight on your mouse. Granted, it's only 3 minutes, so you might as well just hang out and chat with people while you're waiting for your 3 minutes. And then maybe take that food back to my shop and sell it to me, because I like that. And then I can get some emeralds and finish my pyramids. So you can see it gains up pretty quickly here in the amounts of food. So that's why I figured 3 minutes was a decent time on it. There's a sign here requesting if you guys want longer time limit on this, I can increase it for a little bit more money. But just keep in mind that every one of these chests and hoppers above here is all full of bone meal. So it's quite expensive process to get that much bone meal, but we can do it if there's enough interest. So now you can see that all the lights are turned on here. which means all of them are in use technically. Somebody could still have, been there without being teleported away. So just try to make sure not to go to one of the farms where there is that light on, because if somebody else is there and they say, hey, get out of here, then you're going to get moved out and you're not going to get refunded. So keep that in mind. This light here over the crop farm, if this light turns on, that means there's low bone meal. And at that point, you don't want to use this farm. You should contact me, send me a mail in game, something like that, and say, hey, you're out of bone meal in your farm, the light's on, can you put more in? And that's all there is to it. If that light's off, you're safe to go. You'll easily have your 3 minutes in there, maybe even longer. So, but like I said, when you teleport out, this is where you're gonna come. It's gonna move you automatically, so you're gonna always end up right here, and you'll just have to walk back across, go home, warp away, do whatever you want once you're done. And that's about all there is to it. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys use it. If you have any questions, just give me an ask and I'll figure it out for you. Thanks.